In 1933, the Blohm Voss shipbuilding company in Hamburg was suffering a financial crisis from the lack of work. This is why its owners decided to diversify into aircraft manufacture, believing that there would be soon a market for all-metal, long-range flying boats, especially with the German state airline, the Deutsche Lufthansa. But the war changed everything, and their boats were mainly used by the Luftwaffe for maritime patrol and reconnaissance. The Blohm Voss Bv-238 flying boat was the largest aircraft ever built when it first flew in 1944. Development of this giant flying boat began in 1941, following the success of the smaller but still enormous Blohm Voss 222 Viking. An approximately quarter-scale model of the Bv-238 was commissioned to test the new, long and slim hull design. Its armament consisted 8 13mm machine guns in the nose and tail turrets, 8 13mm machine guns in the wing-mounted turrets, and 2 20mm autocannons in the forward dorsal turret. The aircraft could carry 20 250 kg bombs in wing bomb bays and 4 1000 kg bombs on external racks or 2 torpedoes. Although an extensive armament was planned for the first prototype, the Bv-238 V1 had none of those. It began flight trials in April of 1944. So why would the German Air Force need an aircraft in this stage of the war? By this time, the similar Junkers Ju-290 was available in relatively large numbers. My theory is that it could have been used to evacuate high-level officials and documents from Germany to neutral countries, for example, Argentina. A very similar operation was carried out in the last days of the war. Operation Seraglio was a German air undertaking to evacuate high and middle-ranking members of the party and civil administration from Berlin to supposedly safer locations in southern Germany during the closing stages of the war between the 20th and 23rd of April 1945. This task was entrusted to a force of approximately 10 Junkers Ju-52 transport aircraft operating from the Berlin-Gatow airfield. Some of these Junkers could have flown in another direction to the north to the city of Hamburg. From Hamburg, the Blohm Voss 238 could have reached any South American harbors relatively easily. But this is only a theory. The Blohm Voss 238 was never used operationally. It was attacked and partially sunk while moored some miles to the east of Hamburg. According to American sources, the Blohm Voss 238 V1 was destroyed in September of 1944 by P-51 Mustangs of the US 361st Fighter Group. The lead Mustang was piloted by Lieutenant Urban Drew. Drew was told after the attack that he had destroyed a Blohm Voss 222 Viking, another large flying boat. He continued to believe this was the case until he was contacted by the BBC in 1974 for a documentary and told that according to the research, the aircraft he had destroyed was actually the Blohm Voss 238 V1 undergoing flight tests. One wing remained above water and it was salvaged, but by this time of the war had ended, the Allies refused to let it be restored, so it was taken out to deeper water and sunk. It is interesting to note that a land plane version, initially called Blohm Voss 238 Land or Land, was proposed, capable of carrying out transport, long-range bombing, and transatlantic reconnaissance duties. According to this drawing, one aircraft could have lifted an entire artillery battery. This would have provided some unique options for the German airborne units. The nose wheel could be folded up, making the aircraft kneel and allowing vehicles to drive directly on and off-board via a loading ramp to the nose doorway. Alternatively, passenger seating could be fitted. A further upper deck behind the crew cockpit accommodated further passengers, bringing the total capacity to approximately 300 troops. The lower hull was replaced by a plain fairing with retractable undercarriage comprising 12 main and 2 nose wheels. One bomb bay filled the space between the wheel bays, another lay behind the main undercarriage. The wing floats were similarly replaced with retractable outriggers stabilizing wheels. Renamed to Blohm Voss 250 in 1942, 3 prototypes were ordered, but none were finished by the end of the war.